Welcome to Daggers and Shadow Daddies.
We're your hosts, Ryan and Adriana.
Strap in and strap on.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit content. It's all vibes and no facts.
Prepare to be spoiled.
Wait, no, these are spoiler-free episodes.
We might still spoil you.
I think Xaden learned something about himself in the throne scene.
Third nipple.
I was not prepared for that.
Okay.
I think the kink for this book is edging.
Wow. That is probably true. And I missed it. I'm a little disappointed in me right now. Seems like something I would have picked up on. Not even a little bit. Good job.
I don't think he's came at all in this book.
Well, not in front of us, but imagine she wrote the story about how he was just wailing on himself in the shower.
Oh.
Yeah. They're like, please, we have to keep cleaning the drains.
Oh.
Whoever is filling them with splooge, stop.
Gross.
He's like, it could have been shadows that did it.
I guess my thought process was Xaden found out he likes not finishing and seeing her.
Absolutely not. There's no way that's a real thing.
It's obviously not.
Even for real people. Do you think that's anybody's actual fetish? Is to not come?
I don't know, but I don't know if I like this topic.
You started this.
I know, but I think you kind of ramped it up, or maybe you matched my energy and I was not prepared for that.
I don't know how I ramp it up from. You're like, Xaden doesn't want to come. He's into edging it. And whatever I said was too much.
Too far.
Yeah, I just find it hard to believe that that's anybody's fetish. But more power to them if that's their thing. If what doesn't get you off is not getting off, cool beans.
I just feel like this book is no longer a will they, won't they, but a they will, but he won't.
Great. Oh, man. This was an awesome set of chapters also.
They all are.
So far, I'm really enjoying this book.
This book is the best in the series. It is funny. It is action-packed. And Violet is a badass.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really building to something. And if the next two are this good, I'm really excited. But... little word of caution, if a dragon dies that we know well, I am going to DNF this book. It isn't that good to me. It's amazing, but it's not. Imagine, if you will, if you could fathom a world in which Terran or Indarna stop existing. Perhaps Sorrengail. The book wasn't worth finishing.
But isn't it incredible that a book could make you feel so emotionally attached to these characters?
So I know where you're going with this, and I won't disagree. The writing can be good. There are a lot of well-written books that I don't like.
Is it more your motivation will be gone?
No, I will be actively motivated to not read this book.
Oh.
It will be the opposite of a lack of motivation. It will have motivated me to the antithesis of reading it.
I'm holding out that the main characters will not die.
Yeah, me too. I need to hold on to that, but she got me a little scared. That Terran moment really fucked with me.
I think the moment when he turns and says, I wouldn't die by like weather or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
Was a way of even telling us, the reader, Terran wouldn't go out like that.
Yeah, like that. She didn't say, don't worry, reader, Terran's going to be here forever, which is what I want. I want her in a press conference that I, for some reason, don't skip, where I see her say, not to worry, all of your favorite dragon homies are safe forever, both in your heart and in my pages. That's what I want her to say. And you know what? She can rip that phrase exactly from me. She doesn't have to quote me. I won't even be mad. She can take it all for herself.
We're going to have to keep reading.
You're not giving me enough in this. Give me more, Adrian.
I don't have faith.
Encourage me. No!
I'm not convinced.
I'm going to DNF this thing.
No. I'm just not convinced that all three of them are going to survive, just given the Terran moment. And then we might as well just get into it. We learn about the Kingdom Isles and that they don't have magic. I think that's Xaden's cure. They have to move.
Then they move. That's fine. But the dragons live happily ever after. I don't give a fuck if Xaden dies. I'm not going to lie. Like, I like Xaden and I feel a little bad for him in this, but if I have to, if Terran's falling off the edge of a cliff, and Xaden's falling off the edge of a cliff, we're reaching down and grabbing Taryn.
Wait, I thought about it some
We're
more.
jumping off with Taryn, actually.
Oh.
We're pulling Xaden up so he could watch us fall.
Well, I was just thinking about it. It can't be the cure for Xaden to move. They have to be with magic for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, or they die.
Or they die, because when Violet leaves Indarna, I think that's part of being removed from magic, being removed from her. She would die.
That brand of magic, specifically.
Yeah. And what we saw with Barlow, I don't think that any of them can leave the continent for long.
Well, they may be able to leave the continent. The dragons still have magic.
When Violet was channeling or something, she notes that Taryn must have found an area that hasn't been removed. What's the word for it?
Sucked dry.
Yeah, he found a spot like that for her to be able to channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Taryn may still require some places with some magic too.
So how are they going to leave?
What do you mean?
How are they going to leave to these isles without any magic?
They're currently in a place that doesn't have magic, but there are spots of magic. You know, when you've got cattle or horses or livestock in a pasture and they eat it down to nothing, you'll hear them say, oh, they ate it to the dirt, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean that it's literally all dirt. It means that 99% of that pasture does not have grass in it. There's still little tiny pieces of grass floating around out there, and I think that's kind of what's going on with the magic.
At the Kingdom Isles, do you think there's still going to be magic there?
I think there's probably a touch of it, yeah. I assume wherever the seventh den is, there's magic there.
Yeah, there would have to be.
Correct. So I think there are spots there with magic. I think they're just not well known and they're hidden from the venom. Wouldn't it be funny if they go to those places and they're thriving with magic, but they just told the venom, they're like, sorry, it's all barren here too. Oh man, some other venom came through just last week and really swallowed the place up.
Just sending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be awesome.
What did we end on? Do you remember?
Chapter 15.
Wow, there's so much that happens in these chapters.
Yeah.
Chapter 15 ends with it being Violet's turn to spar against Xaden.
Correct. That is exactly what we left on. She said, I don't want to hurt you, baby. And then he's like, don't worry about it. I kind of am into it.
He's definitely into it.
Powerful women. We've all been there.
Violet's out there. It's him against Violet. That was a stupid way to say it. Oh, well.
Doesn't matter. Run with it.
They're in the pit.
Mano a mano.
Mano. He blacks out the pit, and I realize while listening, he's training her how to fight him.
How to find him.
How to
fight him.
Yeah.
Yes. But he's also taking the opportunity, like, nobody else can see in here, so I can smooch up on you.
That was my first thought. He just blacks out the room, and they just bang one out. Nobody sees.
Well, I don't think he fucked her.
No, obviously he didn't.
That would have been crazy. Imagine. He's like, this is how a fight can go. He's like, it's prison rules. She drops a dagger. Oh no, Violet, you're going to get got.
This is a whole nother level of fetish.
Say this is a hole.
This is a hole.
No, this is a hole. That's what Xaden said.
He does kiss her in the shadows.
Yeah, he does.
Her lightning removes all of his shadows when she strikes. What happens in this scene? Is she just like striking in the sky, but doesn't actually hit the ground?
Correct. She does like a lightning bolt straight up. She's like, oh, this way they think that I'm trying to hit you with lightning. And she does one big bolt. And then he's like, okay, lesson over. Do. And he's already walking away.
It would be badass if Xaden goes like full venom, and her way of fighting him, she's not going to strike him, but has a constant state of lightning just striking to remove all of the shadows so he has nothing.
Why do we not think that she's just gonna, spark nip him just a little? Like make him think he's getting some and then nip tasers.
Back to the lightning nips? But this time they're Xaden's?
No, they're her nipples. He's
nipple
thinking
to nipple.
He's going to get some. Both. He's thinking he's going to get some. He goes to go honk on him a little because he's so horned up at this point, there's no nuance left. He's drained, but not like magically, right? He's full of venom. His eyes are a little red and cloudy. He's going for a grope. And then she's like, oh, here they are. Oh, whatever am I going to do with these?
I hope a big shadow daddy doesn't find me.
Oops. And then he goes to grab, And all of a sudden, lightning just straight from the nipples into his hands, cooks him a little bit. And she's like, she gets on the phone. I don't know why all of a sudden she has a phone.
They don't have phones.
But she does. She has a phone and somebody else has one, so she has somebody to talk to. Now, there's 2 phones in this world. She picks it up. She's like, Batman, I've incapacitated him. How did you ever do it? You don't want to know. And then she puts rubber pasties back on her nip. She's like, just to be safe.
Mine is more badass. Yours?
I highly doubt.
Sounds like if Ridoc was retelling the story.
Oh, Jesinia might someday give him a pin.
Everybody dies. Jesinia's just like, Ridoc, you're the only one who was there. How did it happen?
He's like, not to worry. I remember it exactly. No shit. There I was. In the corner in my gimp suit. Safely watching.
It was Garrick who had the gimp suit.
Everybody's got a gimp suit. They have to be safe from the lightning.
I forgot that's why you had the gimp suit
It's a
story.
rubber gimp suit.
It's a rubber.
You don't require a gimp suit for cucking, I don't think. Unless, is that a cuck outfit?
I don't know.
I feel like I should know more about sex as a middle-aged man than I'm aware of. Rebecca Yarros, write another book. Doesn't need to be this exact story, but tell me what a gimp suit is for. I don't want to Google it.
In this scene, it only gets as far as kissing. Her lightning strikes, it removes the shadows. Everyone's watching in awe.
Were you kind of in awe? Her lightning cut through his shadows.
Cut through his shadows? Like, yeah, it would. It removed shadows. There was so much light that there were none.
Yeah, fucking awesome. I don't know. I took a moment and was like, God damn.
Yeah, that's when I was just like, wow, Violet, badass. But if she just had a constant, like, just the sky filled with so much lightning and lightning striking the ground that Xaden has nothing.
Yeah. She's fucking scary cool.
He should be scared of her.
I think he did get a little bit of a fear boner, and that's why he's like walking away up the stairs. Kind of a wait.
Oh, yeah, he did just run away, and everyone perceived it as he was scared. And he's just like, class is over.
Ridoc perceived it that way. I don't know that everybody was like, holy shit, Violet scared him away. I think it was more like, holy fuck, Violet's a Billy badass, and our instructor is powerful enough to murder us all at one time.
But it did kind of play out the way I initially thought. What is Violet going to do with her lightning?
Whatever the fuck she wants. Clearly.
Only intimidate. And then later when she's fighting, she did an awesome thing where she struck his daggers. And I was just like, no, I hit. Nope. How would I word that?
No, you're right. That's exactly how you would word that. She hit right where she was aiming.
Yep.
It reminds me of the song Bubba Shot the Jukebox.
What is that song? This sounds
Bubba
old.
Shot the Jukebox last night. Said he played a sad song that made him cry. Went to his truck and got a 45. You don't remember this?
What does that have to do with Violet hitting her mark?
Oh my God. So Google the lyrics and they're like, oh, you missed me. And a teardrop rolled down Bubba's nose. The pain the song was inflicted. All at once, he jumped to his feet just like somebody kicked him. Basically, he shot the jukebox, and somebody's like, you fucking missed. And he's like, I hit right where I was aiming.
Oh my God. Did he shoot a single song thing, the little track in the jukebox?
Google the lyrics. It's so good. I can't believe. You don't remember. This was, I think, 90s country, late 90s country. Our poor listeners are like, this guy is all over the place with his music. And he keeps reiterating the same goddamn song whenever somebody leaves, they're leaving on a jet plane.
That was an annoyingly accurate reference.
I know. How often does that happen? I'm an annoyingly accurate guy.
You are not.
That's true. I know nothing about what I'm talking about most of the time. But when it comes to the music, I think I've got this.
But that was absurdly spot on, and I was not following.
Kudos to our listener who put out their own version of the songs for what they thought for the Venom. That was fun. I went through and listened to every one of those with you for the references.
You still need to get her your list.
Ooh, that's true. It's growing. The list. I need to make that super clear.
Back on topic. Xaden wants her to know how to track him since she will be the only one capable of killing him. Xaden leaves the room. It cuts to them in a pub with Sawyer. I love how much effort they're putting into Sawyer. making him feel involved. And I think it's all of this effort why later he starts joining class again.
Hold on. Do you think they're putting in a bunch of effort to make him feel involved? Or do you think that they just want to be around Sawyer? It's not more work.
Yeah, that's the answer. I didn't mean to imply that it was
You didn't imply.
more work.
I'm not suggesting you were. I'm just thinking, like, it doesn't come off to me like they're going out of their way to include Sawyer. It's like they're just stoked to have him with them again.
Yeah. And they're treating him no different.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing different.
Walks a little slower than he used to.
And that's it.
And I think at this point he has a metal and wooden leg.
At the very, very end, it's metal only, I believe.
But currently, during this scene, I believe he has a metal and wooden leg. Like protagonist of How to Train Your Dragon.
Other than Sawyer's way more badass because he's also like Magneto. Or he better be like Magneto. I'm expecting him to use his leg to create daggers mid-fight.
Why even daggers? They could just be little needles. You start shooting those through people's eyeballs, and they're pretty fucked up.
That's terrifying.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be cool.
If I was them, that's 100% what I would do. Needles would be so much better.
Well, if we can get
Sawyer to shoot needles in their eye and then Violet to go pew, and it just spiders out.
Oh, yeah. If he like just pings everyone with something and then she just needs to hone in all her strikes to him.
She electroshock therapies everybody. The venom are cured. We hit the spot in their brain that made him assholes.
When he gets to actual retirement and he's just like an acupuncturist.
That would be awesome. Jesinia's really into it. She's like, he knows how to put the needle in just the right spot, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh.
Well, I'm not saying his wiener's a needle. He's probably got a real meat hammer, right? Like, he lost one leg, but he's still got two. You know what I'm saying?
But if Ridoc is able to freeze the inside of an orange, and they
got there yet? What are you doing? We can't rush this. That's so impressive.
I know, but the morbidity, is that how I would say it?
Of the situation?
Of what you could do with that signet? It is right up there with what you just said about the needles.
Oh, my first thought was he could just freeze people from the inside out.
I always thought that there was a limit to how much power they have. Like, Violet is obviously more powerful than everyone, not just in how her signet is displayed, but in how much she can use and do with it. But getting to see these side characters move bigger and bigger things as they become more skilled.
With
incredible.
Being able to do it inside of things, if he gets to the point where he could do it in just specific spots to be orange, imagine he just freezes the blood in your aorta.
That's gives people a stroke.
No, it kills them.
Yeah.
You block off the aorta for a very short period of time. It turns out pretty menacing. And I would say the odds of Rebecca Yarros knowing this would be slim, other than due to the disease that she is afflicted with, as well as who Violet is supposedly inflicted with the similar thing, right? Maybe she has confirmed that, I guess. She's probably confirmed that at some point. That's how it ends for him, is your aorta separates from your heart.
For them?
For us. A little aortic dissection, but imagine you don't need to do it through waiting. He's just like, boom, consider yourself dissected, homie. Shoots a little ice ball in there.
That's insane.
Yeah, it'd be so rad. But I'm guessing she's going to get to that point because she has to be so aware of that.
This level of badassery, because they even bring up no other ice wielder has done this before.
Yeah, all of her friends are the most talented they've ever been. Do you think this has to do with the gnarliest dragons are the only ones left to bond these people with? Or do you think it has to do with her group is so hyper-motivated to catch up to the bar that is Xaden and Violet?
I think it's that. They're hyper-motivated, but I also am wondering if the Venom are becoming so powerful that balance is being found by swinging towards the riders in some way. I don't understand. I don't know how to connect.
Hang to the left a little on the riders.
Yeah, I don't know how to connect the dots yet, but Violet has said multiple times how much more powerful things are, so much more and more and more. Taryn attributes it to Violet becoming more skilled and being able to sense what was already there. I think that's probably the correct answer, but I also thought maybe it's balance trying to be found.
So I had a thought for this too. I keep going back to burnout. right? And I'm like, well, they can only handle so much power, otherwise they burn out. I don't know that burnout actually has anything to do with the amount of power they're wielding, so much as the control with which they're wielding their power. I think when you're trying to use a bunch of it, but you're not refining it at all, it's probably erosive, right? So the more they're able to refine the way they use it, the more power they can use. Does that make any sense?
It does, and I'm really surprised by the amount of parallels to the Venin as we learn more and more about Venin, and especially Xaden and his lack of control. Is a lot of what Violet's been going through and trying to get control over her signet and control over all these things.
And I'm relating all of it to electricity.
I think that's fair.
Like, the cleaner the sinusoidal wave that electricity is being transmitted in, the more effectively you're able to transmit this same amount of power. It will generate more heat the dirtier the power.
I think I'm following.
This will get out of hand if you let me keep talking.
Back to the pub, Rhiannon realizes how powerful Xaden is, and Maren notes he's more powerful than she remembers.
No, Kat says this, and Maren cuts her off. Kat says, Xaden wasn't that powerful when and Maren's like, okay, moving on. Because I think she was going to be like, listen, he barely had the power to give me some shadow dong back in the day. Now, you can give everybody shadow dong at once.
I like the subtle difference of Kat, I think, telling Rhiannon, she's telling someone that, yeah, everyone is scared of Xaden. And then Violet cuts in, I'm not scared of him. And Kat, digs into this. You've never feared him? And she's like, no, I actually fear for him.
Yeah, she's like, I'm the goddamn lightning wielder / silver hair princess.
But the absurdity of Kat being scared of Xaden, but not Violet.
It makes some sense to me. If you're Kat and you lose control and you accidentally heighten his angstiness any more than it is most of the time, he might just kill you for funsies. And they've all seen him fly off the handle. This is the thing.
No.
They say his control is infamous, but yet his temper was always flaring.
Not to the same degree it is in this.
Violet, I guess.
And I'm going to back up 1 second that you're just playing devil's advocate, because what did Kat do to Violet when they were sparring, and what did Violet almost do because of it?
Violet almost lightning nipped her. And Kat tried to grab her by the clitoris. What happened? I don't actually remember. Oh, yeah, she got her all excited.
Yes.
Kat was trying to heighten her emotions, and then Violet almost murdered her.
Yes.
But this is kind of my point. If you're Kat, you still are afraid of Xaden. Imagine you did do that, unintentionally. You heighten his emotion of angst.
I think the same problem happens when you heighten Xaden or Violet.
Yeah, one of them, you are doing it on purpose, and you don't fear. The other one, you could accidentally do. They don't immediately have perfect control over their lesser magics. So when Kat was developing her skills, there's a good chance that she could have accidentally pissed Xaden off. I think she maybe had more of a reason to fear him than Violet did.
Maybe.
Well, no, I think definitively. Also, he's offered to murder Kat a few times. I think that Kat is right to be cautious.
Rhiannon also points out that Aaric and Lynx have not channeled yet. It's about goddamn time somebody notices, and the perfect person to notice is Rhiannon.
And Ridoc handles it so well. Ridoc's the one that's like, yeah, but Violet, you didn't do it until almost fucking May, right? He's like, we were all but done with the first year by the time you finally got there.
I didn't realize that Aaric is actually still a first year.
So I think I covered that last episode because I fucked up and said he's a second year. And then I may have under my breath said, oh, he's still a first year.
Well, it stuck with me that he's a second year, and I really started to panic. No, he's a first year. Rhiannon was not comforted by the fact that, well, it took Violet this long. She's like, that's not helping.
Do you still not believe that he is a signet?
I like to think he's keeping it a secret.
Can I offer an idea for what I think his signet could be that would be so badass, but it is definitely not this?
What's that?
Imagine he had a signet of command.
I don't even know what that means.
Like the voice of God in the show Preacher and stuff like that, where it was just like, sit down, and then everybody's like, oh, fuck. Whoop, they sit down. Like, he could just verbally command you to do something.
That is terrifying.
Yeah. He's going to be the next king. Like, I just think it would be cool. I know it's not going to be that, but it would be a unique signet. They say there are 6 of these ultimate power signets. I'm guessing there are 7 because there were 7 dragons.
Who else was on the X-Men?
Which X-Men?
Someone's going to get laser eyes.
Somebody's getting adamantium claws.
Who's it going to be?
Let's see. Is Violet going to be our intrinsic Professor X, or is she going to be our Jean Grey? Dun, dun.
Xaden is our Jean Grey.
Oh, you think so? I think Xaden just seeing intentions is more like, oh, who's a really light?
The reason I'm saying he's our Jean Grey is because a part of her keeps trying to escape, just like the venom inside of him.
I was going to go with he is Frost, Emma Frost, the diamond lady who's also a telepath, but she's kind of a weak telepath in my understanding of X-Men. Please, comic book people, do not come after me. I don't actually know that much about anything.
And she's bulletproof.
But
right?
she can turn into diamond. Yeah, she's pretty fucking cool. But, like Xaden, where he's kind of immune to everybody's bullshit, but his signet also is basically like, oh, intentions. You can still read people's minds to an extent, I guess, but you're not rooting around in their subconscious.
I think if you view it that way, I guess I saw because
he's a receiver, not a transmitter, I think is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had a long discussion about gods.
Yeah.
Did you gain anything from that?
Holy fuck, yes. Actually.
Please take it away. I followed nothing. There were too many names, too many gods. Don't know what they do. I only know Malik.
Okay, so Malik is the god of death.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, I'm not going to remember all the gods' names, and I'm not even going to pretend like I know how to pronounce them, because it's probably more Gaelic, and I'll fuck it up.
There's Zanal.
We have Zanal, who's, I think, the god of luck. You have a god of knowledge, which starts with an A or something.
And the flyers kind of call out that the scribes don't pray to that god. Why would they?
No, the scribes do pray for that one. They do not pray for wisdom.
Oh.
And Violet says the reason they don't pray for wisdom is they believe it should be earned.
Not given.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think that was a cool moment. And it really shows a cultural difference, but not a cultural difference where they disrespected each other. It was cool because the flyers came in and like, man, these are like disproportionate. There are, I believe, 6 gods, and it's disproportionate for 2 of them primarily.
Like their shrine?
Yes. And then the 3rd shrine that is still big, I believe, is Zanal. And Ridoc, that's Ridoc's primary god. Because he's like, fuck it, you can get through anything with enough luck. You don't need a blessing of any other kind. Which, how cool would it be if his second signet was just being really lucky? He'd be like Domino, another comic book character.
I'm following, yes, but I don't think Ridoc is a marked one.
Yeah, but he might still get a second signet. We got 2 more books to go, and so far we've got all kinds of reasons everybody's popping up extra superpowers.
They could surprise us with this.
Yeah. He gets another dragon.
It sounds like runes can create second signets. There's a way.
There's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
And Ridoc is the most driven of all of the characters in this book.
And I love
Ridoc
that
is the most driven character.
He defends it too later.
Fuck yeah, he does. But yeah, bunch of gods. They're like, why are these ones disproportionately represented? And I think it's Sawyer who immediately is like, well, there's a couple real big deals around here, and one of them is death. So that's going to be the primary god here. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't get much out of it. I was like, wow, I am not following any of these names. What I'm supposed to really get from it. I'm assuming it's just more of a conversation about exchanging cultural differences.
And it's done so well because it's respectful. Nobody's angry at each other. And they ask the flyers because the flyers are more like, they're like the people that go to church on Wednesday also. You know what I'm saying? Did you grow up with people like that?
Yes.
Did you guys do that?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, the Wednesday, Sunday type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like a lot of our writers are more like Easter, Christmas kind of religious. They're like, okay, a couple days out of the year, we'll go figure it out. And then there's a couple of them that are like, well, I go when I can, when I'm not working. I'll go to the shrine. Which seems to be Ridoc's method is more like, yeah, I'll go swing by the shrine when I'm feeling the need for a little extra luck. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, who gives a shit? But I like that it was so respectful of different perspectives. I thought it was super cool.
I agree. And then Dain shows up and he tells Violet he has to get the research papers by himself. You either trust me or you don't. What is it, Violet?
There's a couple things here. He shows up and Violet's immediate reaction, as well as everybody else's, is to get really quiet, which I felt bad for Dain for.
Yeah, it seems like when he enters a room, everyone just goes quiet.
Why is he still being excluded? That motherfucker has been instrumental in all of you surviving. Be nice. You don't have to forgive him or forget, but you need to either determine he's friend or foe. He's 100% right for making Violet choose, because he's like, I gotta talk to you about something. They go to the other room, which, why is there a private room at a bar? What the fuck kind of bar is this? Is it a strip club? Is this a strip club? Is that the only bar where there are private rooms? Or am I just not bougie?
That would be hilarious. It's like an implied thing where they go into the other room. We're from a really trashy town where we have not been to the strip club, but we have heard stories where it's this nasty old recliner and you pull a shower curtain shut.
Oh, yeah. We lived in a town like that once where, well, it wasn't our town. It was a town 10 miles from our town.
Yeah, we're not claiming that one.
Yeah,
but it was.
The town we lived in wouldn't allow strip.
I was just going to say it was the local strip club.
It was. And people came from miles around just to count both teeth Dolores had on display. Anyway.
But it would be hilarious if this pub implied private rooms and that it was a strip club, but it wasn't explicitly said.
It would be awesome because Ridoc would be in there being like, what, a man's got to make a living just in there.
Oh, Ridoc's the dancer.
Yeah, I think I insert myself in Ridoc in so many ways.
Ew.
I'm just joking. I wouldn't fuck him probably. But I think that I do pretend sometimes that, if I was in the story, I'd be Ridoc. And I can't tell if that's just because I like Ridoc so much, or if I think, if you're going to insert yourself into being somebody in this team, he seems like the right one to go with. I know I'm not Xaden. Dude, he's too cool. That's not me.
I would say you fit best with Ridoc. Who do I fit best with?
Honestly, Violet.
Oh.
Not due to frailty, but due to the certainness and the determination you get when somebody kind of gives you a little attitude. You go all in on something.
I could never commit treason.
I believe that, but then I don't. It would really depend.
And I don't think I could have thought through the whole signing the papers thing.
I don't think she thought that. I'm not gonna lie. Violet, I know we keep saying Violet's great at planning. Violet kind of works a plan out after making a decision, and you are good at planning.
I spend every day planning.
Yeah, and you do a great job of it most of the time, don't you?
I plan for my planning to be planned. And then when something goes awry, I'm like, I planned for this.
Yeah, you're a big old ball of anxiety. And I think that lends you pretty well to Violet. I also think you're probably the most capable human being I know.
I think I would be in the healer's quadrant.
No.
No, the scribe quadrant.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
I think you would have been like Violet, wanted to have been in the scribe quadrant. You would have had some circumstance that made you go to the dragon side of things, into the rider's quadrant. Maybe it was the outfits even, where you'd have been like, well, that does look cuter. I think I'll go that way. You just followed somebody across parapet, wanting to ask them about their shoes.
Excuse me, where'd you get the tight leather pants? I would like some. The white robes are not doing it for me.
No. And you would have made it there, and you would have accidentally bonded two dragons because you would have went mama bear on those boys being mean to that little dragon that you would have found. You would be Violet today. I don't know why you're fighting this. You might be Violet Sorrengail. And ultimately, you're probably the most dependable human being.
As long as I get the same amount of plot armor. Otherwise, I would have been falling off the parapet.
I'm just here for the taser nipples.
Oh, I thought you were going to see the leather pants.
Also the leather pants. Yeah.
Chapter 17.
Oh, you didn't address if you thought Ridoc would be in there dancing in the private room. If this was a strip club, do you think there's any chance that Ridoc is not nuding up?
Okay, maybe Ridoc is the type that would take Sawyer out to a strip club because he's like, you gotta get out. And he's like, yeah, sure. We're just going to a pub. And he just takes him along, takes him to the strip club.
He brings Jesinia with him.
Jesinia?
Joe. He brings Jesinia with him so that they have a cool place to talk. And he's like, don't worry, I know a place where it gets real quiet. And they just get the private room.
And he does the dancing.
And it comes in and he's like, he's wearing a dragon leather, just banana hammock.
Oh, slight side trail here.
Oh, how dare you?
We learned that they ride in wagons. That means horses.
We also learned that sometimes they ride princes. It doesn't matter. That comes in later. A little bit for later. They do ride in wagons. It could be donkeys, horses, zebras. We don't know what the fuck pulls them. It's probably not sheep. They're not known for pulling wagons.
There was one little excerpt about after dragons and griffins started bonding humans, they were blocked from certain locations so the sheep could be raised.
Yeah, seems like a right move.
There was a huge epidemic.
Can you imagine? Like if you just let animals feed however they would, what would happen to the landscape of this place?
What does bonding have to do with them finding food?
Well, now they're wherever the humans are. Before they were just kind of hanging out around the Vale. They're branching out, and pretty soon it's like, well, what's going on? Well, Timmy brought his dragon home, and now we don't have a flock.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I'm kind of on board with this.
Chapter 7 starts with a letter from Asher Sorrengail to Violet.
Who is Asher Sorrengail? How are you not more excited about this moment? We finally learned his name.
Yes.
Daddy's Sorrengail.
What do you think of this whole moment?
Honestly, his name being Asher is really funny, because there was a period of time like 12 years ago where everybody named their kid Asher, it seemed like. I don't know what popularized it.
I immediately thought of Ash Ketchum, and I was like, oh, I gotta fix this association. I need to associate this with Fourth Wing.
He's like, and Darna, I choose you. Throws a Dragon Ball. Mixing franchises. That's not how Dragon Balls worked either in that show. Doesn't matter.
But his letter is telling Violet, trust no one.
Which he amends later, I might add. He tells her one specific person she needs to trust.
Mira?
Yeah, and then gives her options for if this person makes this decision, you can trust him. If this person makes this decision, you can't.
I think saying trust no one never implies your siblings unless explicitly told.
It implied Dain Atos. If Dain does not go into the Rider's Quadrant, you can trust Dain. If Dain goes into the Rider's Quadrant, you need to learn to shed your affections for him.
Yeah, but what I heard you say
I'm including Mira, but also Dain as a possibility in this, right?
I just assumed Mira was not implied in the trust no one.
Well, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm just going with this so far, and trust nobody means nobody. If my father would have written me a letter that said, do not trust your siblings, it might have saved me some time, actually.
No, if your father said trust no one, do you assume he means your sister?
All of my siblings, yeah. I would have assumed he knows something I don't know.
Who assumes that? No, we're not going to. You're being ridiculous.
I'm being ridiculous.
You're being ridiculous.
I'm following the rules.
Chapter 17, they're back at the school. The death roll is read. There was a cadet that died from falling and bad weather as their dragon wasn't able to catch them.
Another moment where we see that perhaps Lilith was instrumental in the effectiveness of this college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that Lilith protected them from this. I just don't know if it was noteworthy enough in the other books. Perhaps you're right.
There's just a lot of talk about weather in this book.
There is. You're probably right. I'm not looking deep enough into this, honestly.
It's maybe not deep, but I don't remember weather being discussed so much.
No, you're right. Every time it was discussed, it was her mom. And people assumed that, oh, your mom must have used rain to make parapet harder so more people would fall and you'd have a better chance of getting a dragon, Violet. And I was like, motherfucker, it was equally shitty for me to try to cross because it was rainy and windy. She's like, Mom probably did it to make me fall. Now we're wondering, did your mom do it?
Violet has a moment where she thinks about things were just now turning around for her and her mom.
She decides to trust Dain also.
Yeah, she does.
Just feel like we should put that in there.
Violet runs into Sloane. Sloane is still very awkward, uncomfortable. She's on archives duty and feels immense guilt. And Dain gave Jesinia the research, who then gave it to Sloane, who then gave it to Violet.
I understand why they go through so many moving parts to make it difficult to track, but it's also a lot of fucking people touching something that you're really concerned about.
In the next scene, everybody joins in and trying to solve the password. And I think Violet even is just like, how many people know? And Kat is like, does it even matter?
Yeah, we assume whatever you're up to is treasonous, always. Which I like that their little core group has grown so much. Think of how great Liam would have been in this. Have you considered
Ryan,
that?
we are on book 3.
He would have been perfect in this.
You know what? I look forward to another character dying so we can move on from Liam.
There won't be another. Honestly, the only characters that could possibly overshadow Liam's death are enough before the book series ends for me.
I'm scared it's going to be Ridoc.
If Ridoc dies, I'm going to be really pissed. I'll keep reading the book.
You would. Okay, that's good.
He's not Taryn, or Indarno, or Sorrengail, or Violet. Ah, man, I don't know. Maybe I would have to quit. I don't know. Ridoc can't die. No, never mind. You're right. Riddick's on my list. He also can't die.
I was putting out some feelers to see if we're finishing the book or not. I don't know anything. No, I don't know anything. I was just testing the waters that if a character dies, where you draw the line.
Yeah, I guess Ridoc qualifies as part of the line. If Sawyer kicks it after he's all Iron Man'd out, no, so sad.
Sloane agrees that they shouldn't be going north. She gets, obviously, now the manuscript, and it's locked up. It's a 6-letter word, and there is a rune. The secret code is first love. Oh my God, I have typos. Irresponsible. First love is irreplaceable. I had irresponsible.
Honestly, both are usually true. Do you remember your first love?
Yes.
Do you remember it fondly?
Yeah, I would say so. It was unhealthy.
Oh.
From 6 to 16, that's kind of a long time.
That's true. If you think about it, we've been together even longer.
We have been.
Maybe not healthy.
My first guess was... What was my first guess? We both said Lilith. That was too obvious.
Said it was too obvious, yeah.
Then I said Halden.
Yes, which was a great call. I did not think of Halden.
And then you thought...
I can't remember what I thought.
Naolin.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't realize this was addressed to her. No, I also thought Brennan for a minute, and I didn't count out how many letters that was.
Which is hilarious because that's exactly what Ridoc does here in a little bit. He's like, Brennan, 1, 2, 3. Okay, never mind.
So that's exactly what happened, because initially I'm like, oh, your first love is a lot of things, but the first thing you love so insanely deeply is your first child. And I'm like, oh, it's got to be Brennan. And I'm like, it doesn't work with the letters.
It wasn't too...
You said Halden, and I'm like, motherfucker, it's perfect. Good job. It was written for Violet.
If it was for Violet, it wasn't for Violet. It kind of was for Violet.
It was for Violet.
But it was also, I think, for her mom in some ways, because the clue ended up being Lilith's mom's dragon that I definitely know by heart.
Aimser?
Aimser. Yes. Thank you.
That's okay. I may have pronounced it incorrect as well.
There are so many names in this book. I am lost. Absolutely lost. I am following the general path I need to be following is all I got from this.
If it helps any, I still get Melgren and whatever the other guy's name is confused. They're interchangeable to me, but do you remember who I'm talking about?
No, you finally got Melgren.
Markham and Melgren. Melgren's the general?
Yes.
Markham's the scribe?
Yep.
Okay. Never mind, I've got it figured out. You're dumb.
Everyone knows.
You have the intelligence of a worm. What does he say? You're a lizard.
I don't remember.
It's a resident alien thing.
I can't remember what he calls everyone.
Moving on.
Everyone knows about the research and helping with the journal password. Ridoc points out that it could be her first love, and who was that? Aaric turns around when he hears this, and all he says is, how many letters? And she says, 6. And he's like, it fits. And Ridoc says, is the first year entitled to information we don't have?
And he was. He was entitled to different information.
I'm surprised that was all that was asked. Why does this first year that you supposedly only know as of right now,
Yeah, Ridoc's really the glue holding this group together sometimes. And he's holding it through a lot of bullshit. To be fair, he's not entitled to the information as to why Violet would give this kid more than he gets. But it's a fair question for him to ask, I think.
I think now your complaints about how has Aaric gotten away with this are valid because now people have met.
They're valid. They've been valid the whole time.
No, they just now are because people have met Halden.
That complaint.
I think that they would look like obvious brothers.
The thing she keeps bringing up is how stunning both of their eyes are. She's like, they're beautiful green pools, stunning royal green eyeballs. Is green a color of royalty?
Purple usually is.
Okay. But green is not often a royal thing, you don't think?
No, but the way these eyes are described, this type of green would be very obvious, which is why when Halden shows up and second squad gets off of the... Well, we didn't even talk about Halden showing up.
We haven't got there yet.
Oh, that is later. Okay.
Yeah.
But her entire squad walking off and looking at this prince, and you'd be like, oh my God, what are the chances? Two attractive men that look so similar have the same stunning, beautiful eyes?
Yeah. And Aaric's just a slightly taller version. Not as strikingly handsome, though, I guess.
Tiny detail, and I think I wrote it down for later. She points out he's not as tall as she remembers.
Yeah, no, she's really out of love. When she fell out hard.
Xaden enters the room with Garrick. Ridoc says Imogen's going to be excited for class, and he gets smacked on the back of the head.
I think by Imogen.
Yes. And the fact her name wasn't mentioned, I found odd.
She hit him and he forgot what he was doing.
Yeah, her little shoulder bumps, her little elbow nudges.
Her little smack to the back of the head.
Violet also got smacked, but she doesn't remember.
He's like, I don't remember my first love.
Infantry is going to be joining sparring class. Violet gets Xaden to choke while talking. He starts playing this game with her, and she wins.
Yeah, but to be fair, he was just lightly like, hey, getting her kind of in the mood a little bit. And then she turned it up to 11. And I think, again, this is one of your Violet sorrengail moments, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, hey, what are you up to, girl? Like, I'll kind of try to sexualize you a little bit. And then you'll be like, oh, really? Is that what you want right now? And I'm like, yup. And then you'll turn it up to 11, and I'm like, God damn it, there are children in this house. Calm down, woman.
And then I just walk away. You're just like, but I have a chance.
I'm really sad for about 3 minutes, and then I'm like, I'll live to fight another day.
Rhiannon, Kat, Quinn, and Ridoc go against Garrick. Xaden gets furious at Garrick during this fight. This is a moment where we see more of that lack of control. Xaden is definitely more attractive in this book due to this lack of control.
Oh, okay.
Someone in real life with this, obviously, no.
No. I'm offering no criticism. I do not have a perspective on what's making Xaden more attractive.
What did you think of this fight, though?
Xaden was so attractive. Is that... What should I be going with this?
The fight between Second Squad and Garrick.
Oh, Garrick is fucking awesome, I think.
I was shocked he was able to go...
toe-to-toe.
Time again and again and again and again.
Got that stamina, girl.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stamina. Violet strikes the dagger. We talked about that moment. End scene of their fighting because everyone's just like, oh, the lightning got involved. Halden slowly claps as he's walking down and he sits. Violet has to breathe through seeing him. It was at this time when I took the note, I was thinking there was something that really hurt Violet, but not what did happen, I guess.
I did not give a shit what hurt Violet in this moment. What really got me in this where I felt bad for Xaden. She takes a moment, assesses him objectively. He is fucking gorgeous.
She does.
She's like, he's a couple inches shorter than Aaric. Aaric is more or less Xaden's height.
And talks about how beautiful he is.
And then she's like, his features are chiseled like they're from marble. He is as glorious as you could assume him to be. His perfect skin, his clothes fit just right. He is just a fucking showstopper. And then she's like, Xaden's also a showstopper. And you're like, if you're Xaden in this and you're used to being the sexiest dude ever, Having somebody where your girlfriend can even look at him and just go, holy fuck. That's got to be hurtful as fuck.
I don't think she has looked at anyone like that since Xaden. And I know she's not attracted.
She brings up that Dain is also a good-looking dude, but it's like it kind of occurs to her occasionally where she's like, Dain is a handsome man, very capable fighter, intelligent, blah, blah, blah. This is the first dude. She sounded straight up thirsty for a minute. And she didn't sound like she wanted to climb him, but she sounded like she knew why she did before.
Yeah, I think that's how it is.
She could objectively look at this man and just go, holy fuck, he's good looking. That's basically what she did. And if you're Xaden in this, you're like, yeah, but like, I'm still better, right?
You're Xaden in this moment. You see Violet leaves there, sits down right next to him, and Xaden knows all of this man's intentions.
It's not there yet. Hold on. First, what happens with this dude is he walks his... At first, I thought it was like a Lord Farquaad situation, right?
Because she said he's short or shorter.
She said he's shorter than I remembered.
But in a room with 6'6" men, being
There's 6'6" man in this room. Xaden, so far, is the tallest man described to us, and Xaden is 6'4".
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Was Liam taller than Xaden?
No.
Oh, we went into a whole thing about that.
You're thinking of the Bat Boys. The Bat Boys are between 6'6", or 6'4" and 6'8".
Okay.
Yes.
I think this is realistic to have men around 6 foot in range.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think Aaric is slightly shorter than Xaden. Then his brother is a couple inches shorter. What I will say is you are Violet Sorrengail's height, right?
She's shorter. I think she's 5'2", 5'3".
Oh, I thought she was okay, you're 5'4". You're not exactly towering over Violet. Okay, let's not get too excited. And the way you describe tall men sometimes is really funny. You were correct about the most recent one where you're like, they're your height. And I'm so used to hearing you say this, and then I meet a dude that's like 6'2". I'm like, no, this is just another relatively tall human. The last guy, he's my height, right? He's a big, tall man. Violet being like, he's a few inches shorter than Aaric. I just don't believe her. I can't trust her perspective because you short people, when you look up at somebody, you just don't have that.
They're just all up there.
I think so.
I have to size everybody up next to a door, kind of like at a gas station where they have the little sizing on the side.
I was going to get you one for your cubicle. Just a little stick next to it so you can tell me how tall people were accurately. Because you do like to use height as a description, but it's not necessarily descriptive the way you do it sometimes. Not in a negative way. Does this come off negative?
No, I think it's great. I think putting a little thing next to the door into our room.
Yeah, into the office for your team.
Yeah.
That would be really funny. Like your mama's cheeks, we gotta split this one.
We got a little long-winded there. So we're gonna make a part 2.
I'll see you in part 2, motherfuckers. It was a great time. We had fun. Now get out and go live your life.
No, wait. No. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate and love you all. Please follow us here, TikTok or Instagram at Yarros.Podcast.
And then go live your life.
Bye.
Bye. Get out. We're done. This was Daggers and Shadow Daddies. Now it's my time. Toodaloo. It was fun for us. I hope it was fun for you. But that's all we've got. Goodbye. Come back in a few days. We love you.